If you are pregnant and you don't know what to do next, you're not alone. Choose Hope is a nonprofit organization that offers you all the services and resources you need at no cost. Join us in the next 30 minutes as we talk to the staff, the volunteers, and the clients that make Choose Hope the safe and secure place that it is. I'm Christy Breslin, and this is Harford MagaScene. It is my pleasure to be joined with my friend Stephanie Atha, who is the executive director here at Choose Hope. And I'm so excited because we are sitting in their new headquarters. Such a great step for Choose Hope. Stephanie, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Stephanie, what is Choose Hope?
So Choose Hope Women's Center is a pregnancy medical clinic and resource center, and we help anyone who is parenting children or pregnant, but parenting children up to age 3.
Now, why did this particular organization come to Harford County? Why did we feel it would be valuable for our county in particular?
So we've been in the county 52 years. We started out as Birthright in Bel Air, and really it was just out of a love for helping moms in an unplanned pregnancy. Back then, the only way to reach help was through the telephone. There was hotlines, and that was a toll-free number was kind of a big thing 52 years ago. Now, of course, the way that people can reach out to us is through calling, texting, emailing, forums on the website, anything like that. So it's a lot different than it was 52 years ago, but the mission is the same, and it is, just to love people, to be there for women, and to empower and encourage and educate them.
Stephanie, you and I have known each other for a very long time, and you are just so passionate about what you do. Tell us what keeps you going.
A few things. One of them is that I always tell people how this is such a hopeful place. That's part of why we changed our name to Choose Hope. Prior to this, a lot of times people would say, you work at a pregnancy center? Isn't that stressful? Isn't that depressing? Isn't that negative? And I'm always quick to tell people how hope-filled this is, that we are loving on and pouring in and empowering women and their families. And we see those results. We see their lives literally changed. And it keeps us all going.
Now, 25 years, right?
Yeah, 25 years, mostly on a volunteer level, but just for the last 6 years as the executive director.
Now, Stephanie, tell me about the new center. I know it's here in Edgewood, and from what you told me off camera, you have a lot of residents that come from this area.
So while we were in Bel Air, while we loved and were able to serve in the community there, we also saw that so many of our clientels were coming from this side of the county. And we really wanted to make it easier for them to reach us. Through the county transportation, it was very difficult to get from Edgewood or Joppatown all the way to Bel Air. So we were always keeping our eyes open for where we could move to in this area. And then the Epicenter has been a great partner with us for lots of years, for about 10 years now. And they said, hey, would you guys like to have an office in Edgewood? And we jumped at the chance. And so we've been in this space a little over 3 years now. 2 years, 1 year temporarily next door, 2 years in our brand new built office. And it's just been such a benefit for us to be much more accessible and to our clients to just be able to easily, pop in.
Well, I know that there's a big need for your services. So how many people would you say Choose Hope has served, and how has it grown over the years?
So in 2018, we had probably about 300 people that we had served that year. But now in 2024, we've had 1,200 people that we have served through the year. So we have definitely exponentially grown. We've had 144 ultrasounds last year alone, and we actually didn't start doing ultrasounds, went medical in March of last year. So if you go from March to March, we've actually had 180 ultrasounds in a year. And those are free. That's part of our free services to our clients. So offering more services, changing our location, adding more staff, changing our name and affiliation have all created growth in better service to our clients.
Stephanie, what would you like people to know about Choose Hope Women's Center?
So I think people have a lot of misconceptions about what we do.
Okay.
People think that, maybe we're trying to force people to do one thing or another, or that our agenda is different than maybe what they have in mind. And what I really would hope that people would know and learn is that we are not only a place of hope, but empowerment. We're a place of loving people. That's the essence of everything that we do. People don't leave here feeling judged. People leave here feeling supported and loved and encouraged, no matter their choice. They will know that whatever choice they choose, that we're still going to be here for them and we're still going to love them. And I think that unconditional love is something that you just can't find everywhere, and people don't expect it here. But that's our everyday.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. This is, again, a great facility, and I know that you said a lot of your clientele comes from this area, so it works for everybody.
Thank you.
Well, coming up next, we're going to speak to a registered nurse because here at Choose Hope, you will get free medical services and advice, again, from a registered nurse who will help you navigate the path of any unplanned pregnancy. Stay with us. Joanne Holhouse is a registered nurse here at Choose Hope, and it's so great that you can come to Choose Hope and get these valuable medical services at no cost. Joanne, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate your time as well.
Now, Joanne, tell me about your work as a registered nurse.
I was a registered nurse. I got my degree later in life. I was 49 years old when I became a registered nurse. I had raised my kids, went back to school. It's amazing. They took this old gal, and I graduated from nursing school in my 40s. I started work with Johns Hopkins. First, I did some rehab work, and then most of my career was in oncology, bone marrow transplant, downtown at Hopkins.
Oh, wow. So you've had a lot of experience, and what brought you to Choose Hope?
The short answer is God, because I believe that He is always behind the scenes, orchestrating and working in our lives. But I worship at the Edgewood Epicenter, which is right next door to Choose Hope. Choose Hope kind of showed up in our neighborhood, and this kind of very bold, confident Stephanie showed up, and all of a sudden, right on the corner was Choose Hope. And I had actually been through an unplanned pregnancy when I was in college. So it was very dear and near to my heart what a woman can go through. And I guess we don't really call it a crisis pregnancy, maybe an unplanned pregnancy. And when I was pregnant in college, I had a very supportive family. Not everybody has that. And I will never forget going to a clinic on campus or right off of campus. And when I found out I was pregnant and told them that for me, abortion was not an option, and I was going to choose to carry this child, even though it was very, I don't know if the word is traumatic. I didn't find any support at that clinic. It was almost literally like their backs were turned as soon as I made that decision. I'll never forget that. So I had a supportive family, as I mentioned, and so that is something that drew me to Choose Hope.
Well, I would like to know, I know that you do that, but you do so much more too. I mean, all these medical services that you provide at no cost. Tell me about that.
Well, it's great. We, first of all, what a lot of women come in for is we have this lab quality pregnancy test, which we provide. If that test is positive and our patient is at least 6 weeks pregnant, according to their LMP, last menstrual period, we can offer them a free ultrasound, that limited obstetric ultrasound. We also do a full health history with the client, and then we can make referrals if there's anything of note in their history. If they don't have an OBGYN, we have a whole list for them to refer resources in the community. Our own Harford County Health Department is a resource, a great resource that we use a lot as well.
From your vantage point, your professional opinion, why are these services so essential to the women that come through the facility?
We first of all want every woman to know that they're welcome here, regardless of their situation, regardless of what they're thinking, where they are in their pregnancy, where they are in their life. Every woman is welcome here. And when they come in for these services, I guess probably the most important thing is we can help them make an informed decision. I feel like there's a lot of stuff flying out there today about abortion, about pro-life, about pro-choice, about. I personally have never met a woman who has regretted having the child, but have met many that have regretted their abortions. And many have felt like they were pressured or were just in a temporary circumstance that they couldn't see through. So we want them to be so informed. What are your options? How can we connect you with the resources you need? How can we come alongside you and support you? And we use the word empower a lot. But for a woman to feel empowered, I think they need to know, they have to be well educated about what does a pregnancy look like? What does a birth look like? You know, we have great education as well. I'm sure they've talked about that.
Yes.
We have this whole new course that we can offer that is excellent. Everything from, you know, conception up until parenting and healthy relationships. So I feel like, yes, we have a lot to offer, but making an informed decision. A lot of our patients, like I was, come in a situation that is a challenging situation, and they can make a decision based on those emotions. So we just want them to be able to come in here, feel welcome, feel accepted and loved. And that's God's love, not ours. And be able to sift through and find support.
Joanne, thank you so much. I mean, your services, we can't say enough about them and how much they help all these women that desperately need them. So again, thank you so much for all that you do.
It's a privilege to be a part of Choose Hope. And we're a great team. And we thank you as well for taking the time to let people know about our services.
Well, it's a great organization, and we are going to hear from a couple of the board members and also find out how do they raise the funds to keep Choose Hope running. Stay with us. Choose Hope has a great board here, and I'm lucky to be sitting with two of our board members, Alex Steck and Joe Xavier. They're here to tell us about what the board does to serve Choose Hope and why you should take advantage of their services if you are someone that is experiencing an unplanned pregnancy. Thanks so much for being here, guys.
Thank
Great,
you.
thank you.
Now, Joe, you've been serving on the board for a while, so tell me about the board. How large is it?
So, Chrissy, we have 8 members on the board, and all of us volunteer. We all have other things that we do, but we are honored to be able to volunteer to support Choose Hope Women's Center. As far as how long I've been I've been volunteering for about 5 years or so now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so originally just as a volunteer, Stephanie approached me and asked me about doing like a state of abortion in Maryland, doing like a legislative update for our local delegates, and that's how I first got involved.
Well, we're lucky to have you on the board. I know you do great work. I've heard it. You heard it here first. Now, Alice, let me ask you, from your vantage point, what sets Choose Hope apart from all these other organizations?
The love, the compassion,
Absolutely.
the grace, no conditions. She knocks on that door, we're going to see her. And we're going to do everything that we can within our power to get her the resources that she needs. And like I said, she doesn't need to bring a thing, just herself and her concerns. And we're here to serve her. And we are so happy when they knock on that door and they make the appointments and they come in.
Now, Joe, these services are free. So how does Choose Hope raise the money to keep them going?
So we are absolutely blessed with just a whole community of supporters. I'm not sure if you looked at everything, but all of the materials that we have here are donated by the local churches in the area, and they provide everything. We don't buy any of these. This is all donated, and it's enough supplies that for each woman who walks through the door and chooses to be a mom, that we are with them for 3 years for the diapers, the wipes, the formula, the clothes, and all of that comes directly from the community, financially and also financially. And then we also have a number of companies that partner with us, and as well as just a whole community of people that support financially every month.
Well, that is so important. And Alice, volunteerism. Talk about the importance of that.
Volunteers, well, they're the backbone of the ministry. So without our volunteers, we wouldn't be able to be here. I think there's maybe 6 staff people, and we would be able to see all the women that we see. So the volunteers are essential to what we do. And they're very well trained, and they come with a heart, again, for these women because they want to serve. They want to make a difference in her life. They want to help her. What's interesting is that oftentimes we're more blessed through her than she is through us, because they come with issues, serious issues that they need to deal with every day, but they persevere. And they did tenacity and just the resources that they avail themselves, and they just press on, and it's inspirational to us to see them and to walk alongside of them.
Well, Alice, let me ask you, anyone that's considering coming to Choose Hope, why should they?
Because they're going to make a difference. And it's not about what you're coming with. It's just about sitting with someone, just like you sit with your family or you sit with your friend, and you listen. And we take that for granted. We don't realize how much people want to be listened to. We listen to her, and we validate her, and we respond to what she needs. And what's great about Choose Hope is we see her once a month. So if I see a client on Friday, before she leaves, I'll book her next appointment for 4 weeks from that Friday. So I continue to build that relationship with her. So if I look back at the notes, I can say, hey, how's it going with that job? How's it going with you getting special services for your child? How's it going with your health? People want to be cared about. People want to be loved. And that's what we do here.
Joe and Alice, thank you. We are so lucky to have people like you on the board that are so passionate and so giving.
Great, thank you. It's
Thank
a blessing.
you. It's a blessing. And it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, like Alice had mentioned, volunteering, that is the backbone of this organization. So if you do have time and you want to make a difference in the community, Choose Hope is the place to do that. I'm now joined with April Cheatham. She is a former client here at Choose Hope, a woman that I've known for many, many years, a great story to tell, and she's here to tell us all about her experience with Choose Hope, where she was then and where she is now. Hi, April.
Hi, thank you for having me.
April, how did you first hear about Choose Hope, and why did you decide to take a chance on them?
I first learned about Choose Hope, I want to say 2009, 2010.
Now, why did you feel like they would be a good fit for you at the time?
Well, I had just found out that I was pregnant. We currently have 7 children now.
Wow.
So I couldn't even tell you what number of children that we had at that time. But I had just found out I was pregnant, and I was really scared. I didn't know what I was going to do. And everyone always has resources and ideas, but nobody really had any help. And so when someone told me about, it was called Birthright at the time, when someone told me about that, I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a try and try them out. And they were in Bel Air, in this cute little house. And I came in and I met Edna, and she kind of put everything into place and put me at ease. And that was the first time I went into Choose Hope Women's Center.
And from what you've told me, you have nothing but good things to say about them. So talk about your experience.
They did a lot of counseling, which was my favorite part of just like coming in and having that weekly time that I could sit for an hour and just talk to someone about what I'm feeling, my dreams, my hopes, my wishes. It was the only time that anybody really asked me about my pregnancy, or it was the only time I felt happy about my pregnancy was when I was in that women's center.
Oh, absolutely. And like you said, an unplanned pregnancy, that can be stressful.
Yeah.
So what would you say to somebody else that was maybe going through the same thing that you went through?
I would say to them that there are people out there that care. that people don't realize that babies hold such importance to God, and they don't realize the future. They just see this little baby and they don't know how they're going to take care of them. They don't know what they're going to do, but they're not looking at the bigger picture of who they can become. They could be our next president, they could be our next government, our next military. And so that's why it's very important for children to grow. And I think I would say to a person, seek help. Look for people who care. Look for organizations that want to help them to be able to not only grow in their pregnancy, but also maybe grow in their relationship with their spouse, or if they're raising a child alone, to create a community.
April, I'm so proud of you and all your accomplishments. So tell us about where you were then compared to where you are now.
Well, we were homeless twice. We had experienced poverty probably all of our adult lives, and through our some of our marriage, we went through a lot of poverty issues, and so now I am working for a nonprofit called Extreme Family Outreach, and I'm the director of community and business relations. And my job is pretty much to help other women who share the same struggles and walks that I took, to be able to offer resources and guidance, and it's a really great opportunity for me to be able to do that, and kind of brings a tear to my eye that I get to work along an organization like Extreme Family Outreach and Shoes Soap Women's Center that I was once a client at. So it's a big deal for me.
April, thank you so much, and I will see you out and about in the community like I always do.
Thank you.
Well, coming up next, we're going to speak to a woman who is in the late stages of her pregnancy, and she's going to tell us all about how Choose Hope helped her to get where she is, to feeling comfortable and excited about her new addition. I'm now joined with Olu Black. She is a current client here at Choose Hope, and she is excitingly expecting a new addition. And she's going to tell us all about her experience working with the wonderful staff here at Choose Hope. Thanks for being here.
Hi, thank you very much for inviting me.
When did you first begin getting services at Choose Hope, and how did you first learn about them?
So I found out October 5th. I had taken a home pregnancy test then and it was positive, but I wanted to get a confirmation. So I went online to see where to get like a free test. And this came up like, Choose Women's Hope. And I was like, oh, nice. So I gave a call and luckily they said, come in. And I came in immediately. And then, we did the pregnancy test and it was positive. And that was how I found out about here. I just went on Google and it was so easy to like get in touch with them here and speak to them and get an appointment.
Well, how did they help you prepare for the pregnancy?
When I came in, the nurse that I spoke to was very kind. I can't remember her name, but she gave me a lot of resources then, like who to call for my prenatal care. We did an ultrasound here to show me the baby. She told me you can come in for classes, pregnancy classes, to give you more information about what to expect while you're expecting, the kind of food you can eat, the kind of exercises that you can do, just general, information about the baby and pregnancy, things that I didn't even know before about my own body or what is going on inside me. So I got a lot of resources from that. And my husband also has been coming, and he also has been watching like videos on fatherhood as well. And I think he's been getting a lot of information as well. So we did get plenty of resources to help us, I've been here for 5 weeks and 32 weeks right now. So it's been a long time that I've been coming here for, for classes and stuff like that. Yeah.
Now, would you recommend Choose Hope to other women?
Absolutely, I will, because, sometimes you don't get the support that you need when you're pregnant. And I feel like coming here has actually given me that support, not just because I come here to watch the classes on DVD, but because of the nice ladies that work here. You get to interact with people. I don't work. I'm home all day. I don't talk to anybody. So when I come here is when I actually have my time to just talk to people and just, they ask me, how are you doing and stuff like that. So it makes me happy. So definitely anyone out there who needs that kind of support, definitely this is the best place to come.
Give me an idea of your husband's perspective of everything that Choose Hope has done to help you, him, and your growing family.
My husband, actually, I wish he was here today, but he had to go to work. But he's been very, very supportive. He's been coming to the classes with me, and we've been learning together. And he actually feels like these classes have gotten him prepared. The last class we came to watch was the fatherhood class, and it had so much information that when we finished, it was like, ooh, now I'm ready to be a father. So he definitely loves it, yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time, and I'm so excited for you. You're going to be a wonderful mother.
Thank you very much.
Well, stay tuned. More to come. Marianne Lucott is a client advocate here at Choose Hope. So when you find out you're pregnant, sometimes that can be a little scary, and you need somebody to hold your hand and kind of guide you through the process. And that's really what Marianne and some of the other advocates do. Thank you so much for being here today and for all that you do for these women.
Oh, you're very welcome. It was very nice to be here today with you.
Now, Marianne, you're a client advocate. What exactly does that mean?
That means that I walk alongside a client that comes into our office, and whether they just have little children that need support in a material way, or whether they are pregnant, and if they're pregnant, I will be the advocate for their entire pregnancy. Um, Hopefully, I'm one of those. They may not always come in at the same day that I'm volunteering, but I would be put them in my list to follow up with them.
Now, what would you say is the best part of volunteering for you? I mean, why do you continue to do it?
The best part is that I have the opportunity to share my faith. Um, the women that come in here are just really um, looking for something, particularly if they're pregnant and they don't know for sure if they want to continue with this pregnancy, um, and if they make a decision to go ahead with this pregnancy, we are here to support them, and it gives us an opportunity to pray with them and to just love on them, and we can open doors for them. We encourage them to find a church where they can grow in community with Christ. And we also, here in Edgewood, we have another program which is called the Scooby-Doo program that's out in the communities. And if they are from this Route 40 corridor area, I always remind them that there's a program specifically for children ages from all elementary school age and beyond, that meets after school in the communities on a tarp, and they learn about Jesus.
This can be a very sensitive subject for some people, but sometimes hard decisions need to be made. What would you say to someone that was considering an abortion?
Well, we let them know that we still would love to have them come in so we can talk with them, so that we can take a pregnancy test if they are. We can also possibly do an ultrasound if they're at least 6 weeks pregnant, and just give them their options. If they're considering an abortion, I will share my own experience and how hurtful that was for many years, and also reassure them that if indeed this is what they choose and they find out that they really just hit rock bottom, that we have a meeting, we have a group that meets every month for an hour to support those that have chosen abortion and just need some healing. And again, we point to the Lord to do the healing that He does.
Marianne, thank you again so much. People are just so lucky to have this kind of support in Harford County, and we just all want them to have a happy and healthy pregnancy.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
So, as you've heard from Marianne, things can be tough, difficult decisions need to be made, but the staff here at Choose Hope is there for you every step of the way. Pregnancy can be a very exciting time in life, but it can also be very stressful and at times very difficult to navigate. If you or someone you know could use Choose Hope and all the free resources they offer, visit their website at choosehopetoday.org. I'm Christy Breslin. See you next month on Harford MagaScene.